for another episode of Get a Load of This. From the Silver Creek Studios, I'm Jarod.
I am Ryan.
And it is Halloween time once again.
Still. Yeah, too fucking long.
Yeah, we kind of been saying that for a couple weeks now, but
Yeah.
it's really, this is the episode right
You
before
think
Halloween.
everybody applies? It's like, oh, it's October, it's Halloween time, and then now you go to the Walmart and you're inundated with Halloween shit. It's as bad as Christmas, you know.
Yeah, but at least you weren't inundated with it in June.
Right. Well, it's only a matter of time before we know it. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to start seeing this shit in August. You're going to start seeing, you know, inflatable.
There's all kinds of
witches.
Christmas shit out right now.
I
There
know.
has been for a
I know.
couple
I
weeks.
disagree with that too. I don't think anybody needs to be buying their tree in October. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, artificial.
Right.
Obviously, you bought a real one. You'd have gonna have a
Have a
rough
mess on
season.
your hands.
Yeah. But no, I just and then also I noticed that around the neighborhoods there's more and more decorations on houses. It's almost getting like Christmas. It's not every house, but I'd say in my neighborhood probably every fifth house has significant Halloween decorations. Like
I don't think
as
we've got
much
that
as they
much
would
over
do
here.
for Christmas.
Wow.
Lights on the house, inflatables out in front,
Yeah.
which I don't dig.
Lights on the house.
Yeah, like orange and purple, and you know,
Okay.
it's crazy. And the inflatable thing is kind of what I don't like that. And then you know the skulls and tombstones in the front yard or whatever.
Man,
That's fine.
You just hate Halloween.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Not a fan of it. You know, but
I hear you.
I don't
I mean,
get it. What are
I
we
like
celebrating?
it, but not that.
Do we even know what the hell we're celebrating? I know it's All Hallows Eve, right? So there's some pagan holiday that it's all stems back from, and so
Right.
okay, basically we're celebrating a pagan holiday,
Basically Satan.
right? But they say that Christmas is actually based off of a pagan holiday
Oh,
too.
yeah, right. I've heard that.
I saw some
Yep.
documentary on that
Yeah.
shit. So who knows? But Halloween is not
good.
even veiled as like, oh no, it's a good thing, and there's a fat guy who's jolly and
Right.
wears a red suit. This is just
No,
like
it's definitely creepy imagery.
the freaks come out
and-
this night, and no, fuck, there's no, I don't get it.
It's fun, okay?
Nah, it's not.
We get to eat our peanut butter cups and
Yeah. Well, I got an email at work that they're going to have a Halloween day, and that means, you know, everybody's going to come in dressed up, and I want no part of
I
that.
heard you saying you won't dress up for Halloween parties. You
No.
come as yourself.
I mean, if someone came at me and said, hey, I got the perfect costume for you, it's easy. You can basically wear the exact same thing you wear right now and maybe put on glasses and a wig.
You can dress up as a grouchy podcaster.
Right. Solid gold. I'll do that all day long. I even wear a wig. I would go that far. But yeah, if I got to put on some, you know, crazy pants or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in on it. But yeah, I think it's a full moon tonight too.
It is. It looks awesome out.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, maybe that's why people were fucking weird today and everybody was driving like asses.
Right.
I don't know if there's any truth to that whole theory either, but maybe it's just people are assholes.
People are assholes. I think that's what it comes down to.
And that's probably what they're saying about me whenever I drive by them. Like, look at that asshole. Fair enough. True statement.
So on the way home, I wanted to get a beer for tonight, and I had no intention of any specific beer. I had done zero research beforehand, but I wanted to get something Halloween themed. So I was just looking for any kind of packaging that sort of looked like Halloween, and I found Elysian Night Owl Pumpkin Ale, and it's got very creepy looking tree limbs over a moon.
Yeah. Owl's cool looking.
Staring at you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Owls are cool, man.
Owls are cool. We hear them all the time in our backyard. It's awesome.
Yeah. I like owls. They don't hurt anything, do they? They
Just like mice.
eat mice and shit like that?
Yeah.
But that's good. You want that,
unless
right?
you're a mouse.
Well, luckily I'm not. So I've had other Elysian beers.
Struggling here, folks.
I've never had this though. But I have had other stuff, and I recall it being.
But you were kind of
tasty.
bragging about a pumpkin ale you had recently.
I don't remember what it
liked.
was. I don't remember what kind it was. I was up at the Pumpkin Fest thing in town, and there was two. Well, they had a. It wasn't one of the microbrewery or whatever mini brewery deals. It was one of the bars had a cart out front, and they had about 6 or 7 different pumpkin brews, and I think they do that every year for Pumpkin Fest, and they were cheaper than the other options, so I went with them, and I don't even remember what they were, but they were good. Both of them were good. One was significantly better than the other, and all I can recall from the taste of them was that one had more of the spices. Not so much pumpkin flavor, but really like the nutmeg and the ginger and what are those things? Those black things, cloves. Or not cloves. What are they called?
I'm not sure.
It was on here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You said it earlier, and I can't. Anyway,
I don't know.
But I could taste that kind of crap, and I was like, that wasn't terrible. I enjoyed that. I couldn't drink 4 of them, but one was good.
One of our terrible. One of my coworkers, a listener of ours, I think he made the same comment. He had one pumpkin ale and it was really good, but he didn't want another one. One was all he needed for the year.
Right.
Then he's good.
I'm all filled up. Yeah.
So I'll read the description here before we pour these out. Our original pumpkin ale, brewed with pumpkin, roasted and raw pumpkin seeds, and spiced in conditioning. Okay. With nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice. So, says hops,
so
Magnum,
there's that. Yeah.
Malts, 6 varieties, special, roasted and raw pumpkin seeds. So, I believe Elysium is from Seattle. They're out of Seattle.
All right.
That's about all I know.
All right. Well,
so, let's pour this out. It smells good.
Does it? I didn't smell
it.
Yeah. It doesn't smell bad. Yeah. Looks like a beer.
It looks like a pumpkin beer. It's kind of got that copper look to it. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of these
they all
beers
start
we've
to
been
look
drinking,
alike, I don't know. Did you see that video? There's this, I don't know if it's old or not, but it was on the internets, and it was just it was this little kid. I mean, he's probably 1, little baby, and he's a cute kid, and he's not fussy or nothing. He's sitting on his mom's lap or his big sister's lap, and they were carving a pumpkin. So they had pulled all the crap out of the pumpkin, and this kid just had a genuine. I mean, he's too old to play it up for but he had a genuine gag reflex every time he would touch this pumpkin stuff. So
nice,
and it was like you could tell this kid was just genuinely revolted by the innards of a pumpkin.
It is pretty disgusting.
It was hilarious. I don't know if you can find it out there on the internet, but it's pretty funny.
All right, let's try this Night Owl Pumpkin Ale. Oh, wow. So
it takes a second.
So I don't know how you want to describe this, but in your mouth while you're drinking it, I didn't really taste that flavor, but as soon as you finished it, oh man, you just get hit with all those spices.
And you definitely taste a lot of pumpkin, I think, on the back end of it.
Yeah.
And I hate to get too technical because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about but on the back end, I just mean later. So as soon as you swallow, you get all those what I would imagine would be the aftertaste, or what the belch would taste like, is that pumpkin is gourd.
Yeah.
All I taste is gourd. I need to drink more so I can get rid of it.
It's got that sort of sweet cinnamony flavor. At some point in the process, there's that flavor, but then it goes away, and you get the hit with pumpkin.
There's a funky kind of smell too, I think.
I like the smell in the bottle, but once we poured it out, it's kind of got a different odor.
You know what Barstool Sports is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guy's pretty good. Barstool president, whatever the hell his Instagram tag is. But we
should get him on.
Well, we should. But I'm sure no one else is trying to get he's blown up pretty big. But he does the one bite pizza. You heard about this? So he goes around to different pizzerias all around the country, wherever he happens to be. Yeah. And he's got a catchphrase, everybody knows the rules. One bite, everybody knows the rules. And you're supposed to take one bite of the pizza, and then you rate it. Scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. And so he does it all over the place. And I guess there's an app. I haven't downloaded the app. It's like One Bite app or something. But it's very entertaining, and generally he goes in, he gets a pizza, he comes out, he's on the street, passers-by stop by, sometimes they'll give him pizza, sometimes they yell shit at him, or he yells shit at them. Yeah. Sometimes he's a celebrity. He had Bill Burr on, I don't remember what city they were in, but he's had others. But maybe that's what we should start doing. We should start giving these a rating, like a 1 to 10 rating for the beer. I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing like beer reviews online and stuff, they rate the
you have to rate flavor
and the
levels.
Odor and the presentation.
We're making up our own rules.
Yeah,
and
one rating to rule them all.
Yeah. So if I was going to give this, plus I've had other pumpkin ales this year. Yeah, I may have had one previously. I don't recall, but I would say that this is. I don't know. You got to start somewhere because you're going 1 to 10. It's like you start middle of the road, but you never have one better. Maybe you should have rated it. Maybe you can revise it later.
Well, are we rating this compared to other pumpkin ales or compared to
Just
any of the beers?
beer.
Yeah.
Just compared to beer, and I'm going to give it a 6.2.
Yeah, I was going to say somewhere in that 6-7 range.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not that good.
6.2.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean,
But then I got to ask myself, what's a Bud Light?
yeah,
I think a Bud Light's a solid 7, 7.5.
Okay.
You know, I think like the Holy Roller stuff that we tried, that IPA, that's an 8.5 all day long. You know,
Right. But you might have a similar IPA that you just don't like for whatever reason. It might be a 4, 3 or something.
right. Yeah, you never know. But everybody's tastes are different.
Right.
So you never know.
I think this is okay, but like my buddy at work, I don't want another one after this.
Right, I'm with you.
It's fine.
I'll finish
it.
this.
Right.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm doing it right now.
I'm not going to get that carried away. Take my time. Savor it. Ryan just wants to get rid of it.
Yep. Pardon me.
All right. Now, I've been looking forward to this for a really long time. I don't want to build it up too much.
You've kind of heard
I
parts
can
of it,
tell.
haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love this story. I want to hear it again, though. I
Yeah.
can tell you're a little hesitant
Yeah.
to put too much emphasis on it or hype it up, which
Well-
I can understand. We've been talking about it for so long, it's got all this hype. But it's
Our listeners are out there waiting with bated breath.
what's going to happen?
Yeah, this is the build-up the suspense is killing everybody. I have a feeling they're going to be disappointed, but it's not a bad story. I've told it to a lot of people who are skeptical of the afterlife and of spirits and the supernatural. And a lot of people that are full-on believers and that are that love it and that seek out. There's one lady I used to work with that if she goes to cities to she'll look for the haunted places and want to spend the night there, and she wants to experience it. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy if you ask me.
Now, I don't know if you remember when you first told me the first part of your story, I was skeptical. I was like, whatever. Okay, this is what really happened. And you had, no.
Well, everybody is.
I didn't. And then as the story continues, by the end, I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, I told Corey today, I was at work, and he asked, what are you guys talking about tonight? And I said, telling this story. It's it's a ghost story basically, and I said, maybe I should just make you listen to the podcast when it comes out. Well, I ended up telling him, for the most part, beginning to end, somewhat abbreviated version of it. It's not a terribly long story either. I mean, I can get pretty
I'll drag
detailed.
it out.
But there's phases to it, and what you need to understand is that it's not like at step one we were like, oh shit, there
exactly.
it is. No, this was a long process. So let's just go.
All right. So tell the backstory.
My wife and I were married at a place called the Limp Mansion in St. Louis. If you're from the St. Louis area, I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. There's a brewery that competed with Anheuser-Busch and competed with all the national
way back
breweries.
in the day, 100 years ago.
Yeah, in the early 1900s and late 1800s, and they were Germans, obviously. Maybe not obviously, but likely they would be Germans. And so the Limps, they had a house. And it was a big, beautiful house, and they have a history of committing suicide and having untimely deaths, and mostly, I think, brought on by the failure of the brewery. This is a very abbreviated history of the Limp family. The failure of the brewery, other just psychological issues within the family, depression. Who knows? Today's science would tell us a lot more about them, but I think 2 or 3 people have committed suicide in the home, and then others have passed there. And then there was also tale of a bastard child that lived, or that was cordoned off on the upper floors of the home.
So the Limp Mansion is a restaurant now, but it's also
it's bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast, and it's a known, people know about this history, and they discuss the potential.
And they have a murder mystery show that they do, and it's cool.
Right.
We've never seen the murder mystery thing, but I've been there when it was set up for it, and we know the lady.
But you knew all this going into.
I didn't. I'm an idiot, and so my wife said, we went and toured places, and she said, I want to get married there, and I was like, cool, that place is neat. I'm a dude, whatever, that's fine. Where am I getting hitched? Just tell me where to be, and what shoes to wear. So, and we actually, our reception was at the. They have old warehouse where they kept the beer, I guess, after it was produced, and now it's turned into a reception hall. It's really really nice place.
I haven't seen that.
And if you get married there, they give you 1 free night stay in the mansion, which, again, I was like, awesome, wonderful. So we're down there
the suicide suite.
Right. The day of our wedding, probably for rehearsal too. Maybe it was rehearsal when she told me about it. Yeah, that may be. I don't know. And Patty is her name, the lady that runs, or used to. I don't know if I hope she's still there. She's a very nice lady, and she runs the joint. And my wife asked her about the hauntings and what she had seen or what she had heard.
And you're looking around like, wait, what?
I'm like, yeah, hold on a second. Wait, what? And I was like, for real? I always thought, I knew they had like murder mystery shit, and I knew that there was stories, but I didn't know it was that, I don't know.
Right.
Just wasn't aware, And so she proceeds to tell us that, some of the wait staff and the help there had seen floating candles and floating glassware in the dining area, and things that shifted, moved, things that fell off the mantles. I think she said at one time, someone reported that like all the candles went out, like they have candles lit on tables and on mantles, and like they all, just went out.
Right.
So it's like some of the stuff, floating stuff, I don't know. I don't buy into that.
Right.
Things shifting or moving. All right. People think they see things when all the candles go out at one time. It's like, well, again, people see things.
Sure.
Maybe there was a draft, maybe the stiff breeze. So, some of that stuff I'm skeptical about. And I'm like, all right, that doesn't prove shit to me. She had told us that in the bar area, which is a lower level of the restaurant, or like in the back lower level of the home, there's more activity. There's more things that are reported back there, and it's a lot of glasses breaking, a lot of things moving, a lot of cold chills and smells, and just feelings of other presences that people report. So again, I'm still skeptical, not buying it.
Sure.
So.
Neither would I. If I was staying there for the night, I'd be like, whatever.
So I wasn't scared. And then, I think I or my wife asked, has anybody reported seeing actual apparitions? Actual, human-like beings? And she says, yeah. There's the lavender lady, which was Mrs. Limp, and her bedroom was all painted in lavender, and she apparently liked lavender smells and whatnot. That she's been seen and wears like a white flowing gown, and she's just seen about the house in different places. But the one that creeped me the fuck out was that she's like, a lot of people report a white I'm sorry, not a white man, a tall man with a black top hat and shiny black shoes and a suit. And they report seeing him, and I remember asking her, like, where do they usually see him? And she said, usually at the foot of their bed while they're sleeping.
Oh,
right. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? No, I don't want. Now that's in my head.
Yeah.
And now I'm still skeptical, but I'm like, I don't need that kind of shit bouncing around in my melon. I gotta get married in a few hours. Give me a fucking break here. So whatever. We don't talk about it much more, and it was a neat story, and whatever. So we go off, and the day of our wedding, it rained, and it was supposed to be an outdoor wedding. They have a gazebo out in the patio, and it was supposed to be a real nice deal. Ended up, it was nice. We had to shift chairs around to get people under cover so they didn't get rained on. But it ended up working out just fine. It actually stopped raining for the ceremony. We got a little bit lucky, but then it was humid as balls, and it was the middle of summer in St. Louis, so it was like 114 degrees with humidity. And but we got married. Everybody goes to receptions. We took some pictures. They throw birdseed at us and all that, and I proceed to get drunk because it's my reception. I got married.
It happens.
And yeah, we had a good time. I did drink a lot, and that's back whenever I smoked cigarettes, so I also smoked a lot of cigarettes, probably, that I presume I did. And but it was time for us to go. The party was still going on, but we bailed, and we went back to the mansion. We had to get up early. We were going to catch a flight to our honeymoon.
That's why they went back.
Well, and that. So, which is, without getting too graphic for our listeners, but the objective was to, quote, consummate the marriage, And so that's happening, right? And she's going to kill me. I haven't said anything incriminating here, but anyway, so that's happening. And, mid-process, I couldn't breathe, basically. It felt like there was a 50-pound weight on my chest, and I legitimately had trouble breathing.
That's called marriage, right?
Right, yeah. The ball and chain flipped up and landed on my chest. No, so I was like, whoa, hey, I got something fucking wrong. I gotta, I gotta take a breather here for a second. And I couldn't breathe, quite literally. I was struggling. So we decided to, we're just
Never happened to you before?
No.
Okay.
No. And never since, quite honestly.
All right.
So we decided we're going to go to bed. We lay down like we're going to bed, but we didn't turn off any of the lights. We left I missed a step too. I missed a part. We put everything away because we were getting up really early to get the hell out of Dodge. And so the wife she'd packed up. I had packed my bag. She had packed her bag, and everything was set up. And it was a 2-room suite. Everything was set up in the other room, ready to just grab it and go, including an umbrella that we had used during the day of the wedding because it was raining. And so we lay down and, again, leave the lights on. And I slept a little bit, but every time I would wake up, I wouldn't open my eyes. I could tell the lights were still on, but I was afraid to open my eyes and see this asshole at the foot of my bed. So I literally am laying there in bed wide awake like, motherfucker, he's standing there. And if I open my eyes, I'm going to see him. I'm just going to lay here and just hope he goes away and he doesn't hurt me and doesn't kill me. And by the time it was time to get up, and I actually rolled over, put my face in the pillow, opened my eyes, and then slowly peered over my shoulder, and there was no one there. Everything was great. So we get up. I think I immediately went to the bathroom and felt the gazes of thousands of spirits upon me while I had my morning whiz. And she yells at me. She's like, "Hey, why is this umbrella out?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I go out there, and the umbrella that I witnessed her, and she recalls, and she did it, I put away and put it with all of our stuff to go, was at the foot of the bed, open on the floor. Not just undone, but open. And
I think, didn't you tell me before it was wet? Right?
She says that it's wet. I don't recall that part, so I'll go with her recollection of that. I don't recall it being wet.
An umbrella that you both recall putting away, closed,
is now at the foot of our bed.
Foot of your bed, opened up and wet.
Right. So for the skeptics out there, they're like, someone in the hotel's just fucking with you. Well, they leave.
Or like I said, you were drunk, you don't remember, you went outside for a cigarette, and you had,
I didn't move out of that. I wasn't that drunk. I didn't move out of that bed. Once I laid down, because I didn't know what I wasn't going out of that room in the middle of the night, because there was nobody else in the house. The help left. There's nobody at the front desk.
Yeah. So the staff isn't there in the house all night long.
My wife claims that there was another couple across the hall that was spending the night as well.
But they better not be fucking walking in your room on your
you would hope not. And I think we locked our room. You could lock it. But also, I believe her because she says that they were supposed to have a room, but they gave it up because it was our wedding. And so they said, we'll let them. That was very nice of them, whoever the hell they were. But they're not going to come in the room and do anything like that.
Right.
I wouldn't think. So whatever.
So that's fucked up.
That's fucked up, but we kind of just blow it off, whatever.
Right.
And we proceed to exit the building. Peggy had told me, she's like, all right, when you leave in the morning, there's a key on the table by the front door. You can unlock the door manually from inside with no key, but once you leave, when you're outside, you have to lock it with the key, and then you drop the key through the mail slot, and off you go. So she'd given the steps, like you turn this lock, and you turn this lock, and open the door, and you're home free. I stood at that front door and tried 100 different ways to unlock this thing, and it wouldn't unlock. I couldn't figure it out, and the wife tried, twist and turn and everything, and nothing. So I'm like, well, shit. I said, let's go to the back door and see if we can get out that way. So, which is by the bar. So we go back by the bar. We carry all of our bags and everything back there. Same thing. Can't get out of the damn door. So we're like, well, fuck, let's go back. And, we are starting to get creeped out. And we go back to the front door and first time unlocked it, walked right out, locked it, dropped the key through the mail slot. And I was like, that's fucked up. They didn't want us to, something didn't want us to leave. But didn't put much thought into it. We were creeped out by it or whatever. By the way, just to recap, I'm still not feeling well at this point. I still having a hard time breathing. Not as bad as it was, but still having a hard time breathing. We get into her car, load the stuff in the trunk, and we get in the car. It was a sunroof. It was a Grand Am, Pontiac Grand Am, late 90s. And it had a sunroof that was aftermarket, which I objected to her installing, but she did nonetheless. And I always say, they always leak. You never want to put you never cut a hole that's not supposed to be there. They'll let the factory cut holes in the cars, So it had never leaked to that point, much to my dismay. But that day, get in the car, put the car in reverse, back out of the parking spot, and water begins to pour out of the switch. It was an electric sunroof, moonroof, whatever you want to call it. Water pours out of the switch onto the center console of the car. And I'm saying enough water to fill a rocks glass, a Scotch glass.
Never happened before.
Never happened before. Never happened after.
Never happened since.
Right. So we said, that was fucking weird.
That's weird.
Hopefully that's not a problem. We'll address that when we get back from our honeymoon.
So you had a wet umbrella at the foot of your bed.
Right.
And a bunch of water comes pouring out of your sunroof control housing. That's never happened before and never happened since. All right.
And also the sunroof worked fine. It didn't.
I was still skeptical at this point.
So,
like, all right, shit happens.
Understandably skeptical.
All right.
So we proceed to exit the parking lot, and there's nothing really remarkable from this point until quite a bit later, except for the fact that when we left the parking lot, and I guess maybe a block away, I suddenly felt better. And I remember telling her that I'm like, I'm good. My chest doesn't hurt. I'm breathing fine. It was like it all just went away. Actually, I remember stopping and getting a Gatorade. And I drank the Gatorade, and I was like, I'm good. I feel 100%. There's no problem anymore. So that was weird. But, but once again, we didn't put too much thought into it. So anyway, we go on our honeymoon. Everything's great. Have a great time. Get sunburnt. Come back months later. I don't know how many, but several. And we still had no children. We had a dog. And it was just her and I living in our house. And she was out with her girlfriends at a happy hour or something. And I was going to make myself some dinner. And I make my dinner, and I go to the silverware drawer to get some utensils to eat. Open the silverware drawer, and it is filled with water.
Silverware drawer. Where is this drawer located?
So it's a U-shaped kitchen.
It's got to be right next to your sink.
No, right.
It's got to have a window behind it.
So it's a U-shaped kitchen, and if you're picturing the U, at the bottom of the U, at the base of the U is where the sink is, looking at an upside-down U, I guess. And to the left of the sink is the dishwasher. To the left of that, on the left-hand leg of that U, or whatever, it's called an N. Anyway, that's where the stove is. There's no water pipes that run on the right side, which is where the silverware drawer is. There's no window. The window's over the sink. There's no reason. There's nothing that could have leaked into this.
Now, is this one of those like plastic tray separator things with the knives go here?
We still have the exact same one. It's forest green because that was the style in the 90s, right? That may have been the one I had in college, honestly, when I got my first apartment in college, but it's green. We still use the exact same one in our house today.
Nice.
Haven't bought a new one. I was just telling her, like, we've had that forever.
And then that tray, that plastic tray, silverware tray was filled with water.
Nearly to the brim with water. So I called her and I said, what the fuck are you doing? There's all this water in the silverware. She's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, I'm telling you, the silverware drawers filled with water. This is also before cell phones and smartphones. So I didn't, immediately in today's world, I would have taken a picture and said, what the fuck? And sent her a text message. But I didn't, and whatever. So I
completely, that's just
doesn't
unexplained. There's no way water ends up in the middle of a tray. Was the rest of the drawer? The drawer wasn't.
Underneath that tray, it was relatively dry.
Gosh.
I picked the tray up, I dumped it out, I dried off all the silverware, I wiped out a little bit of water out of the drawer, and I put everything back the way it was. And I didn't, I was like, that was fucked up, that was weird, whatever, and went about eating my my bean burritos or whatever I made for myself for dinner, and didn't think much of it. Again, at this point, I hadn't put everything together. This is all just kind of occurrences that eventually I look back on. So again, several months later, our basement at this house is finished now. I did the work, and it's carpeted. And in a corner of the basement, it's a drop ceiling.
Your current house?
No, this is the old house.
Oh, okay.
And it's a drop ceiling and carpeted floor. Pretty basic, finished basement. Yeah. In a corner of the basement, right as you walk down the stairs, there's a desk. It's a corner desk. My computer sat, old Gateway computer with the cow box, right? A big ass monitor and all that stuff. That's where my computer was. I went down on some morning, I presume a weekend morning, and I sat down in the chair, and the seat of the chair was soaking wet. And I immediately look up at the drop ceiling. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got a leak. Drop ceiling is dry as a bone. I popped the tile out, look up. There's no pipe. There's no reason. I feel the floor underneath the chair soaking wet. Okay, so, maybe there's a crack in the foundation. Did it rain? Didn't rain. Even if there was a crack in the foundation, how did it get on the seat of the chair? How are these things wet? Doesn't make any sense. Still no babies, no
now you
kids.
had a dog, right?
I had a dog. I thought, well, maybe he hopped up there and pissed all over it. Yeah, it's a he. But he would have hiked
was it pee?
No. I smelled it, actually. I touched it and smelled it. It was water. It was no smell.
Uh-huh.
I didn't taste it, but I'm going to go.
Well, then you don't really know.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, the forensics weren't what they are today, Right. So at this point, I'm starting to see, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Soaking wet, soaked seat of your chair
and the floor beneath.
And there's no window nearby.
No window. The windows were all clear on the other end of
it was leaking. No. Drop ceiling was dry. No. I mean, there's no explanation. What the fuck?
No, I mean, unless someone went down there and just poured a pitcher of water on it.
Right, yeah, it wasn't even like a cup of water. It was a lot.
Yeah. It was a lot of water. And so that was weird, That is weird. That's pretty much whenever we started calling him Drippy.
Drippy.
And so Drippy is the ghost and he never really caused any problems. But, he was just made himself known every once in a while. Well, we sold that house after we had a couple kids. It was, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years later. And
the jackass that you are as you're walking out of the house.
Well, hold on. Before that, I had to take pictures of it because the people that bought the house were kind of assholes, and I was afraid they were going to try to fuck me on some things about condition of the house. So I took a ridiculous amount of pictures of the house, and there were orbs.
What?
All through these pictures. And now orbs are tough to...
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's dust. It's just dust particles in the air. It's sunspots. It's this and that. I completely agree. I am one of the biggest skeptics you'll meet. But some of these is like, okay, it was in a basement. It was dark. Other than the ceiling lights that were on, fluorescent ceiling lights. There's no real good explanation for that. So these orbs are everywhere, mostly in the basement, matter of fact. And in one of the boys' bedrooms, there was a lot in one of the just one of them, not the other one. And they both faced the same way. The windows were open and blinds were open and all that. Weird. So orbs, take all these pictures. We were finishing up, packing things up, and the house was for the most part empty. It was a ranch. I was in the basement. My wife was in the kitchen. My father was in one of the bedrooms. We're all finishing up whatever we're doing, and we hear a loud, pop. Like can't even replicate it, like, but much louder. And all of us hear it, and we're like, we all converge in the living room. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I had big vaulted ceiling, the ceiling fan, light fixture on it. So the ceiling fan's pretty high up there. And we look up, one of the lights is out. Look on the floor beneath it, and there is a light bulb, just the glass portion of the light bulb that's completely intact and sheared off at the base. The rest of the bulb and the filament is not burning anymore, but the filament and the base of the bulb are still in the light fixture, 10 feet in the air.
Right.
So I was like, well, that's fucking weird, So I turn off the power to it. I go get a pair of needle nose pliers. I take out, put a new bulb in. Everything works. I'm like, that's weird. That's odd, And we talk about Drippy at that point. I'm like, yeah, it's probably Drippy. So my dad and my wife leave. I had to button up a few things and leave the keys on the counter. And as I'm leaving with my final truckload of stuff, I stand at the garage door in the kitchen and said, all right, Drippy, this is last call, man. Get in the truck or else I'm leaving your ass here. And
jackass.
And I think I gave him some time, and I don't think he needed to have the door open,
right?
But but nonetheless, I invited that
prick. You invited a ghost
to come to my house, to my new house. So we move on.
Yep.
Nothing happened of note until we sold that house in 2004. In 2008, no, it was 2009. We were at dinner at my parents' house. I get a call from my neighbors that there is water pouring out of the second floor of my home over the front door. And I said, well, shit, that's not good. And I gave him the code to my garage, and I told him how to get in. And one of my neighbors is a man across the street. I said, go down the stairs, take a left, and there's the water shut off, shut all the water off. But the house was destroyed. There was enough water to... every floor of the house, every room of the house, with the exception of the laundry room and the master bathroom, had water damage in it.
Wow.
Every single room, from second floor all the way down to the basement. And basically, they gutted my house and they rebuilt it or whatever. The fault of it was the water supply line that goes from the wall to to your toilet tank.
Mm-hmm.
The plastic fitting that
Right.
screws onto your toilet tank had split,
Mm-hmm.
like not down the side, but like split around in a circle, and it failed. While like must have been like near when we left the house, like right after we left,
Right.
because there was a lot of fucking water, and we weren't gone that long. So yeah, luckily for insurance, they took care of it. We basically had our house rebuilt, the insides at least, and had a lot of things replaced, and it all worked out. But I question whether or not that was Drippy,
Right.
or if it was just a fluke.
Now, and that's one of those things that I would say, if that was the only thing that happened, I would, you're a fucking idiot. That wasn't a ghost. Of course not. It was a cheap piece of plastic that your crappy builder used.
Right.
But you
All
put
those
that
other-
together with...
Exactly. Hindsight being what it is, and having all this chain of events that leads up to this.
4 other virtually impossible scenarios. An umbrella that appears at the foot of your bed wet.
Right.
Water that comes pouring out of your sunroof when it's never happened before and hasn't happened again.
Right.
And what was it?
The seat
drawer.
The drawer.
The drawer
drawer. The
filled
seat
with
of
water.
the computer desk.
I mean, that just...
Yeah, there's a lot
There's
of
no
it's weird
explanation.
shit. Now,
And it's always
happened,
a water themed.
Yeah, it seems to be
Drippy.
always a water thing.
It's got to be drippy.
It had nothing's happened since '09 that I'm aware. Now my parents had problems at their house with water. They had a pipe break. I don't attribute any of that. It's just I think they brought it up. They're like, maybe we got your stupid ghost, and I was like, nah. I think I don't know. He's either calmed down, maybe he's hanging with us. When now that you have this in your head that there may be ghosts, there may be spirits in your house, you start to think about other things, right? So my dogs, they tend to stare at the couch.
Oh, God.
So they'll sit in front of the couch with nobody sitting on the couch, and they will stare right at where someone's head would be if they were sitting on the couch. And I'll notice it, and I'll be like, hey, what are you looking at? And they'll be like, oh, and they'll just go lay down. They're like, oh, thanks for breaking my attention away from that, because that was crazy. And they go and lay down. But I'm like, I wonder what they see. Do they? Maybe they see something I don't. Or maybe they're just dumb dogs.
Now, one time, our dog stared at the door to our garage from inside the house. So the door that goes outside. And it was definitely weird. Like, we noticed her looking at it and staring. And I think she was maybe even kind of growling a little bit. Just kind of that little rumble, that purr. And it was like, what the fuck is she looking at? What the hell? She never does that. So, of course, all these different things are going through it. Is someone out there? Is there a ghost? Like, what? All this shit.
Ghost?
And as it turned out, there was a dog in our garage. This big black lab.
Just lost.
Well, and we had shut the garage, and it was in there, and it couldn't get out. And it was pacing around in there, probably whimpering, and she heard it.
Yeah.
But my point is, there was something there,
right?
And she was keyed on
and
it.
She knew, yeah.
And your dogs were staring at your couch.
Yep.
There was something there.
I think maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's that again. I am very skeptical of all these things, even though I'm the one telling the story. And furthermore, as if we haven't established it enough on previous episodes, I'm not necessarily a big believer in the afterlife,
right?
Or of any deity, but so that makes it difficult to reconcile the existence of the supernatural and the afterlife of ghosts and all that. So it is tough, and I'm very skeptical of my own stuff. But yeah, I think there's something there. I don't know. It's creepy shit.
Too many bizarre coincidences.
Yeah, one thing is kind of unrelated, but my wife would be sure to bring it up at this point because I've told this story with her present enough times that this is usually where she brings it up. She goes, oh, yeah, by the way, there's a photograph of when we are leaving and everybody's throwing the bird seed at it because they can't throw rice because of, PETA or whatever. So they're throwing bird seed at us, and behind us is the mansion. And the third floor window.
Don't.
Of the mansion, there is a pretty clear image of a child, of a ghostly,
damn it, Ryan,
variety. So, and that's real. And we actually, I think the last time we told the story, it may have been to you and your wife, but the last time we told the story, we went home and made a point to I want to find that picture. See? And it's still there, but it's faded. It's not as blatant as it seems like it was.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, you can still see it. And I'm like, anybody else look at the picture and be like, oh, that's a curtain. That's this, that's that. It's like, yeah, it's something. I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's nothing.
It's because that ghost left that mansion and came to your house.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
start taking photos out front of your house and look in the windows.
Right. That ghost is probably still there because that's, I believe, as they say, the ghost of the bastard child that lived upstairs. And people say that they hear footsteps, child's footsteps, like running. You know, the pitter patter of little feet. On, you know, when they're sleeping on the second floor, they hear this on the third floor. There's a creepy ass barber chair on the third floor. I had never gone up there, but my cousin got married there years later. And, one more thing. It's part of the package. Your 1 year anniversary, you can spend the night there again.
Nice.
Needless to say, I didn't. Fuckers almost killed me. I'm not going to go back there. So,
yeah,
you know, whatever. My wife wanted to, and, you know, we didn't. So my cousin gets married, I don't know how many years later, but several years later. And we see Patty again. And she's like, and my wife brings up the 1 year anniversary. She wishes and Patty's like, come back anytime. I'll give you one night. And I'm like, no, I'm not. She's coming by herself because nope, not doing it. But now the second time we were there, or maybe the third time we were there, we were kind of given free reign to kind of explore the house. And so my cousin, the bride, and my sister and my wife and myself, we went, it's broad daylight outside, middle of the day. We went up to the third floor of the Limp Mansion, and it's pretty much just storage. There's a lot of shit piled up and dusty boxes, and there is this creepy fucking barber chair that, why? Why would you have that there? I don't know. I don't know why. It's a cool antique barber chair. Get it out of that freaky house and have it restored to be a nice barber chair. But
you should bring it home to your house.
Right. Yeah, see what else we
invite
can
whatever
bring.
presents.
Bring Clippy the barber. You know? So, but we're walking, all of us are walking towards the front of the house, that window, to look out that window. And there's safety in numbers. There's four of us there. And I'm I'm a big guy. And all of them are, they're all 5'2", or 5'3" or shorter. And so they're small women. And so I'm leading the charge up there. And I'm gonna look out the front window. That's where this picture was. I want to see out there. So I walk up there. They all walk with me. They're following me. We look out the window. As I'm walking to it, there is a doorway on the right-hand side. And I noticed it as I walked by it the first time that I don't know if it was a closet. I don't know if it was a hallway. I don't know what it was, but it was the darkest darkness I've ever seen. And it just creeped me out. And so we got past it. We're looking out the window, and I said, "Did anybody else see that closet back there? Isn't that creeping you guys out too?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's creepy as fuck." So I'm like, "All right, it's time to get the fuck out of here." So we all about face. Now I'm in the back of the pack, and we get to that fucking doorway again, and they're walking slow, and I literally pushed them. I'm like, "Let's go!" And I started pushing them. I'm like, "Gotta get the fuck out of here!" Yeah, and it creeped me out. And you know, there was nothing other than just a feeling, but it is creepy. And I don't know what's going on down there.
It's nuts. You had trouble breathing.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with water, but I mean,
but it's the presence.
Yeah. They a radio show here in St. Louis. They've done shows on Halloween down there where they do a live on site or whatever, or on location, and they record. I don't know if they record it, if they actually broadcast it live. I think they broadcast it live Halloween night, and they would spend the night in the Limp Mansion.
Yeah.
They go a step further. They shut the power off of the mansion.
Oh, shit.
So they put, two assholes in the mansion, maybe four, whatever it is, all their recording equipment, but they shut off all, you can't turn the lights on. You get flashlights and you've got your recording equipment, which I suppose they're running off of generators outside, or I don't know how they're doing that shit. And they, so some of this has been years since they did it, but some of the shows they would bring specialists or whatever, ghost hunters or, the busters. And they would say something about red demon spirits, and these people could feel them or see them. And I'm like, I don't know about all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get into the whole, we turned the power out and we heard this noise and blah, blah, blah. And we saw this light on our camera,
right.
But like I said, unless you're lying to my face, if there's fucking unexplained water filled up a drawer that's not on a wall with plumbing or a sink or a window, if there's a cushion soaked in water and nothing above it is wet, nothing,
the floor below it only. Yeah.
If there's a goddamn umbrella at the base of my bed with soaked in water, and you know that it wasn't there when you went to bed,
it's a lot of creepy shit.
Creepy shit.
So yeah, look, I did drag that fucking story out pretty long, didn't I? I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. I think
I love it because you're skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. And that's shit that you've experienced. You didn't hear about it from somebody. I believe you. So I haven't experienced it, so I can't say that. But
I wish I could make it more spooky, but it's not. It's not really spooky.
That's
why
almost
I think
what's spookier about it.
Like,
maybe. This is real shit. This isn't you trying to embellish with,
Yeah, I wish there was more, I don't know. But I've told it to the one lady who I used to work with, who she's the one that, like, she loves this shit. And she goes out and she'll stay at haunted places on purpose, which that's crazy. But I was telling her the story and she was like, she got goosebumps like 10 times. She's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. What happened next? I was like, really? I don't think it's that great of a story. She's like, oh, this is awesome.
It is awesome.
She was freaking out about
and
it.
There's a theme. Like, if it was all just random shit, there's water to almost all of it. That's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, so
why can't it be like a Reese's peanut butter theme? But like
the dude just leaves Reese's peanut butter cups laying around.
This ghost is
That's
awesome.
The guy that I want. That's a great segue, sir. That I saw I think it's a year old actually, but it just popped up on the old Twitter or whatever I happened to be looking at. That it was a story. We'll call it a story. That was from 538.com, which is their statisticians. They do a lot of polling data and political stuff. But this was the ultimate Halloween candy power rankings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
can I guess, or can we guess? Or
yeah. I'll let you guess. I've already looked at it. But,
let's go top five.
Well, hold on. I got to open it first. But but I sent it to my son because they always ask me. They're like, they're taking calculus or chemistry. Like, when am I ever going to need this again? And I'm like, so someday you're going to take statistics. And you're going to realize at that moment that this is why statistics are important for things like ranking candy. And these people are doing very important work that is is really it's unrewarded, I think. So go ahead. What do you think? What do you think the top 5 are?
Okay. And Halloween candy.
Top 5 Halloween candy, and I will say this: these are not in the top 5, but they also threw into the way that they administered it. Let me put it that way.
Yep.
They online they presented to users who chose to do the test. They presented 2 random candies.
Okay.
So randomly generated matchups of whether it was a Reese's peanut butter cup and candy corn. That was the randomly generated matchup. And they had 269,000 randomly generated matchups, and they had 8,371 different IP addresses who voted on those approximately 269,000 randomly generated matchups. So basically, that's how they ranked it. So who which one won out of the ranking, out of the verses, right? So
are these all going to be like a name brand?
They're all name brand and very well known. There's when you get like way down in the deep dark depths, it goes up to 86 is the lowest one. Even that one's known, but there's some down in that area that are kind of like, what? Never
top 5
heard of that. Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm not going to go in order, but Reese's peanut butter cups.
That's definitely in the top 5.
Okay. We talked about it the other day. Snickers, snack size Snickers.
That is number 5.
Okay. Let's see. So if Snickers is number 5, I can't imagine many candy bars would be ahead of it. Maybe Milky Way?
No.
Okay.
Milky Way is number 7.
All right. So let's go with a generic candy corn.
No.
Wow.
No,
all right. I love candy corn.
Do you?
Oh,
yeah. You also like circus peanuts.
Candy pumpkins.
Makes a lot of fucking sense. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. What else would there be?
Let me give you a hint.
Okay.
Within the top 10, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peanut butter based candies.
Butterfinger.
4 of them are Reese's.
Oh shit. But okay, Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces is not in the top
What?
5, but it
okay.
is
In the top 10.
where I thought it. Yeah, it's number 6. Reese's Pieces.
Well, what else? Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Reese's
Right.
Pieces.
This is where it gets tricky.
Reese's
Miniatures
All right.
is number 2.
Come on.
That's number 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah. And then Reese's Stuffed with Pieces, which is a new
That's
thing.
a thing?
Yeah, and they look
Hell
amazing. I
yeah.
haven't had one, but they look amazing. That's number
Yeah.
8. And then Peanut Butter M&Ms, which not Reese's, but still
Yeah.
top notch.
Sure.
That's 9.
Okay.
I think you said Butterfinger. That's actually 10.
Damn.
And I question whether or not Butterfinger is peanut butter based or not.
Well,
It's kind of a buttery,
yeah.
toffee type deal
it's
or
definitely
something.
got that like brownish, reddish.
So rounding
peanut
out
butter.
the top 5, because we covered 1 is peanut butter cups,
Okay.
2 is miniatures. We said 5 is Snickers. So 3 and 4, you said what candy bars could outrank Snickers? And this is pretty. Now I know it. I'm looking at it,
Okay.
so it's easy for me.
Three
but-
Musketeers,
Nope.
Kit Kat.
Boom.
Kit
That's
Kat,
number
okay.
4.
God, what else would it be? Payday.
No. Also a solid candy bar
Yeah.
though.
Baby Ruth.
Nope.
Okay, tell me.
Twix.
I love Twix.
Right,
How did
everybody
I
loves
not
it.
think
It's got
of
a
that?
cookie in it, for
I
Christ's sake. How
know.
could you not love Twix?
That's definitely in the top 5. I
Right.
forgot about Twix.
So
okay,
yeah,
go down the list.
So,
1 through 10.
Yeah,
What
so
is
we
it?
had Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, miniatures.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Miniatures. Come on.
But it's how they presented it in
Yeah.
the
All
test,
right,
right?
fine.
So miniatures, Twix, Kit Kat, Snickers, Reese's Pieces, Milky Way. That's 7.
Okay.
8 is Reese's Stuffed with Pieces, which everybody
Yeah,
should go
I
out
gotta
and
try
buy
that.
one. Number 9 is Peanut Butter M&Ms. 10 is Butterfinger.
okay. That's a solid top 10.
Yeah, then, going on from there, it's pretty standard stuff. I'm not going to read the number for everyone,
Yeah.
but 11 is Peanut M&Ms, 3 Musketeers, Starburst, 100 Grand Bar.
So interesting that until Starburst, everything was chocolate-based,
chocolate.
right?
And they
Yeah.
actually talk about that in the
Okay.
story, that they categorize things to try to find trends.
Yeah.
And we could get into T-scores and Z-scores because they actually did all those statistics, which is amazing
right.
that someone used very expensive statistical software to analyze candy
Nerd alert.
selection. Yeah. No, I really like statistics, and I think I don't even understand all the shit that they showed, but I still think it's cool that someone did it.
Sure.
So yeah, Starburst, 100 Grand, M&M's, Crunch, Rolo, still no fruit. Milky Way, Simply Caramel, never heard of that. Skittles, the next fruit.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
2 fruit flavored ones. Crackle, Milky Way Midnight, Sour Patch Kids. That's 3.
Okay, I want to point something out.
Mhm.
I don't think we've mentioned anything with coconut
No,
or what other like fucking stupid shit do they put in candy?
I actually like coconut. I like
No,
Almond Joy and
fuck
Mounds. I don't know
Okay.
what else has coconut in it
Maybe
other than
that's
Almond
it.
Joy and Mounds.
I guess that's it. But I feel like that's like when you buy a bag of goddamn Halloween candy, it's gonna have Mounds and Almond Joy in it.
Yeah, well, some people like that, Jared.
Apparently not, according to this list. It's not
Well,
even
it's there. 43 is Mounds.
43.
43 is Mounds.
Yeah,
39,
exactly.
39 is Almond
There's
Joy.
38 things better than those.
Here, you also claim to like, circus peanuts and candy corn. Candy corn is 67. So what's that tell us, Jared?
That tells you this survey's bullshit.
Well, but
67.
come on.
Every Halloween bucket out there has candy corn in it.
Right. Well, the neat thing is that they did put in 1 dime and
Dime.
1/4. So, because shit that you get, that
Right, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
getting a quarter in your whatever. I get. But
Yeah.
I talked about on another episode, like those assholes that threw pennies in your
Right.
fucking trick or treat bag. But
Okay.
it's like
Find
but
the
a
most
dime,
what's the first like bizarre thing that comes on the list?
Oh, the dime was pretty
Well,
good.
yeah. I mean, is every candy or thing recognizable? Do you know all of
Yeah,
them
the
so far?
first one that let's see, the first one that I don't know.
There's not like jujubes on there or something. is
No, see, Mike and Ike is 46. Those are
Yeah.
good. Payday, a quarter. A quarter is number
Okay.
48.
That's solid.
And then Smarties is 49. So a
Yeah.
quarter outranks Smarties.
Yeah.
Tootsie Roll Midgies is 50. So let's see. Welch's Fruit Snacks. I guess that's a thing now, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Fruit Chews, just generic Fruit Chews. That's
Mhm.
probably the first one that I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I mean, I can guess what it is, obviously, but
Well, okay, you're pretty far down the list. What's
it's
like
53.
What's 27?
Werther's is 58. 27 was a Baby Ruth.
Okay.
Baby Ruth? So,
I love you, John.
Pixie Sticks is 69. Anyway, I get down to 86, which is the bottom of the list. Good and Plenty.
Okay.
Good and Plenty is
Good
number
and
86.
Plenty.
Nick, so I'm going to spell it. NIK-L-NIP.
Nickel nip?
That's what I would have read it.
Okay.
So I don't know the fucking nickel
Never
nip
heard
is.
of that.
Boston baked beans is number 84.
Baked beans?
No, that's the candy. It's a candy coated peanut, and they're fucking disgusting. They're horrible.
All right.
They deserve to be 84. Chiclets is 83.
Oh, I love chiclets.
Right. Super bubblegum is 82.
Okay.
Root beer barrels, which my kids love, are 80. Sugar Daddy, one dime came in at 78. Anyway, Haribo Happy Cola was 76. Sixlets, I didn't even know they made those anymore, but that's 73.
Yeah, those are good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's but it was cool. Interesting, and maybe I'll post a link to it or something like that on our stuff. But 538.com. It looks like it's from 2017, so it's a year old. So it's probably been covered on podcasts around the world already. We're once again behind the game. But anyway, interesting stuff. But so, my favorite is peanut butter cups. So I look at this thing and I'm like, that's obvious. It's obvious the answer. But I also
the one thing
second
though,
would be Snickers probably.
The one thing about peanut butter cups, because I love them too, they're definitely in the top 3 probably.
Mm-hmm.
They have the potential to be messy. If they're a little bit warm, then they start melting. When you peel that wrapper off, it sticks to the little white paper cardboard thing, and there
are steps that need to be taken in the handling of Reese's products.
It's a little bit high maintenance.
So
where most of the other stuff you just chomp
you can keep it. It's fine, right? But our rules when it comes to Halloween candy sorting, step number 1 when the kids come in off the street is you dump everything out, and we sort chocolate to non-chocolate.
Yeah, right.
And then we get giant gallon Ziploc bags and all the chocolate. And also, I have 3 boys. Doesn't matter. They'll sort it out and like, oh, look at my haul. I got more than you did. When it's all said and done, everything's communal. It all goes into one bag. All the chocolate goes into hopefully more than one Ziploc bag if it's a good haul that year. And then all of the non-chocolate stuff goes into another couple Ziploc bags, and that gets thrown on the counter. This chocolate stuff goes in the freezer. And that's where chocolate belongs, in my humble opinion. And
freezer or refrigerator?
In the freezer.
In
the freezer. A frozen peanut butter cup is the shit. And then you don't have that problem with the shit peeling off the bottom of it. It keeps it right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're little, if they're big, whatever, Yeah. I am a big fan of that. See, if there is a redeeming quality to Halloween, it's Reese's based. Reese's is underrated. I don't know. They're probably overrated, but no, it's solid. And now I really do. I meant to do it this week because I read this article over the weekend. The Reese's filled with pieces. I mean, I think that's a must. We gotta maybe we need to do our next review. Fuck beer.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't believe I said that.
No.
But we'll
take it back. We take it back.
We're gonna do a Reese's stuff with pieces and a chocolate stout. Is our next beer review.
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
There's a peanut butter stout. There's a couple of those out there too. I don't know. We'll have to do some searching for that, but
so it's going to be a few days before this episode posts. But currently, it is Game 1 of the World Series.
What's the score out there?
We are big baseball fans here. Dodgers and Red Sox.
It may change right now.
It is 5-3 Red Sox.
Oh boy. Yeah.
In the 7th inning. So,
the
series could be over by the time this
that very well may be, yeah. But we talked about this, over the weekend before Game 1. But the only thing we can hope for, what did I say, is that Bane takes over the stadium and just finishes everyone because I don't like either one of them. Yeah. And I saw someone posted on social media stuff that a lady, she was at a football game, but the shirt is pertinent for this, and the shirt said, "I just hope both teams have fun."
Nice.
So, talking about being right down central. Right. I'm not taking any side. I just want everybody to have a good time. And that's kind of how I feel about this World Series.
At least it's not the Yankees and Cubs, right?
That would be the probably absolute worst case scenario is Yankees Cubs. I don't.
Oh, speaking of Yankees, and I
think I'd have to leave the country.
Your hatred for them and A-Rod.
Yeah.
So I read an article today where A-Rod is in some kind of court proceeding for child support and alimony payments to his ex-wife.
Really? Good for him.
Yeah. And
he's a stand-up guy.
He's been paying however much. I can't remember what it is. It's a very high amount.
Well, I would hope so. He's a fucking gazillionaire.
I know. And he's been doing it for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And his argument is, I'm not a professional baseball player anymore. I don't make $30 million a year. I make $3 million a year. So my adjusted payments need to go down. So through his lawyer, he argues that he should only have to pay $20,000 a month, which is $1,000 more than his kids need to get by. To quote, get by.
There's a lot of problems with that whole thing there.
$19,000 a month
just to get by.
What
do you need to get by? I mean, see,
18,000.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting. I mean, there's a lot going on with that whole thing, right? I mean, what he's created, or his baby mama has created, is entitled, spoiled fucking brats. Mm-hmm. You ask someone out there that's struggling, that's working 2 jobs, taking care of babies. What do they need to get by? And they'd be like, $600 a month would be great. Mm-hmm. Some would say that's a reasonable number. That's disgusting. And yet, I don't want to get political, but not A-Rod. I'm not talking about A-Rod here, but there are wealthy people out there that'll have those same statements in a child custody hearing or alimony hearing or something like that. I need this. But then they'll go out there and say, we need to fight for $15 minimum wage. These people need this to get by. And it's like, hey, how about this? How about you give a little bit of what you got? If you're all in favor of, I got more than you got, so, I should give some. Why don't you start with you? Start with you. Giving some money to the people that need it. Instead of raising the wages to $15 an hour for a burger flipper, why don't we just start being a little more charitable with our money?
Sounds awfully socialist to me, Ryan.
Yeah, it's not.
All the wealthy needs to be giving their money away to the poor.
No, I'm not saying I agree with it.
I'm
saying
all be
those
even.
That advocate for it.
Fuck capitalism.
Yeah, those that advocate for it, the rich people out there that say that that's the way we should go, they should start with themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that at all. I think, in most cases, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work a little harder and educate yourself. And for those that can't, there are other measures. There's government assistance and things like that is viable and reasonable. But for a lot of people, you just gotta knuckle up. Let's go. Let's get it done. And for A-Rod, he needs to pay. I don't even know who to root for in that whole fucking thing.
I was gonna say, is it bad to say that I feel a little bad for A-Rod?
I don't feel bad for him. I think he should give $15,000 a month to these kids. Is it 15? It's 20,000.
20,000.
So I think he needs to give $15,000 a month to these kids to make them, quote, suffer a little bit, and he needs to give $5,000 to some charity of my choosing, like the United Way or the Children's Miracle Network or the St. Jude Foundation,
the Drippy Prevention Fund.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason. If I was the judge on that case, I'd be like, all right, I got a solution. Right. Because, lady, you're raising some spoiled fucking kids. They don't need $20,000 a year, $20,000 a month to live off of. And A-Rod, you can afford to pay $20,000 plus a month. Yeah. So how about that? And I would propose that solution. You're giving $5,000, at least $5,000 a month to some charity, and your kids get 15, and tighten things up, mama, because they don't need whatever the hell you're buying them.
I'm sure she's got her expenses. She's got private school for each of them.
Sure.
They've got their house payment they got to pay for. I think it said she has 3 houses. So
what the?
She's got, you got to have, you can't just have 2. You got to have 3.
I guess.
Speaking of, tonight, depending on when this releases, tonight is the $1.6 billion. $1.6 billion Mega Millions jackpot.
To be quite honest with you guys out there in podcast land, you may never hear from us again. Right. I mean, this may be it, because if we hit, if one of Jarod doesn't have a ticket. He wanted me to stop and buy him a ticket on the way over.
I asked Ryan on his way over, hey, are you stopping for some beer or anything?
And I told him, no, fuck you, I'm not buying you a ticket.
Get me a ticket.
Because that'll decrease my chances, and you can kiss my ass.
Yep.
Something like that. No, actually, I told him I'd cut him in.
He said he'd cut me in.
If I win $1.6 billion, $900 million
I said, after, you want to split $1.6 billion?
Yeah, I'll throw you $100 or so.
Here's the thing: I don't carry cash on a regular basis. I use debit card for everything.
That's a good point.
You can't get lottery tickets with a debit card.
Some places you
Not
can't.
in Illinois. Well, I was in the places Columbia. I go, you can't.
I was in Columbia, and I stopped yesterday morning, and I had cash in my pocket, but I wanted to confirm with her. I said, can I use a debit card to buy the lottery ticket? She's like, oh yeah. She looked at me like I had 2 heads.
Right.
She's like, yeah, dumbass, of course you
wow.
can.
Well, the gas station I always go to,
you've told me.
you used to be able to, and about a year ago they were like, nope, not anymore.
Well, I guess they want to stop derelicts from emptying their bank account or from running up their
they
credit
got a
card,
fucking slot machine in the corner of the building.
Right.
Those guys can come in here and spend whatever they want.
Right.
Yeah. I can't get a fucking $2 lottery
for good
ticket
measure,
on my debit card.
I bought a Mega Million in Illinois, and I bought one in Missouri.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to cover my bases,
right.
you know. And the other thing is I only bought 2. A lot of people, you go into these stores and you see people, you know, they got the 100 sheets of, you know, filling out the Scantron sheet, and they're dropping $100 easy on these tickets. It's like, do they not realize, and I can't back this up because I don't have anything in front of me, but I've heard this, that your statistical chances of winning do not improve.
No.
If you have 1 ticket versus 100 tickets.
If you get 2 tickets, your odds don't double.
Nope.
No, it's still one in
a
3
gazillion.
million, whatever. Yeah. But
you'd have to buy like 500,000 tickets in order to statistically increase. And even then, it would probably be some,
but at the same time,
infinitesimal
in
amount.
theory, if you have 2 tickets and one of them doesn't hit, as long as the other ticket isn't exactly the same as that one, your odds are better that the second one will hit than the first one. You know, I mean,
true, but it's so small.
Right.
It's so small of a difference. It's not a statistical
for
difference.
$2, I mean, you can't hardly buy a sausage McMuffin for $2.
Yeah, well, it's a fair point, Jared. Fair point.
Well, and my wife complains all the time, and I haven't
about
honestly
sausage McMuffins.
That definitely, but I haven't played the lottery in probably a year because I can't get them on my debit card anymore. And I used to play. I've probably said this before on the air, but anytime I would get gas, I would get a lottery ticket. I would go in and pay for my gas and get a lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't make a special trip to go get a ticket or whatever. I would just get it if I'm getting gas. So once a week, once every week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever.
Right.
I haven't played for a long time, but she used to complain all the time. Whatever, you're not going to win. What are the odds?
Well, not with that kind of attitude.
Exactly. I'm like, you definitely aren't going to win if you don't play. I mean, that's their slogan. You can't win if you don't play.
Right.
Like, I know that the odds aren't good. I'm spending, at the time, it was $1.
Right.
$1 for a Mega Millions ticket. Who gives a fuck? Wouldn't you risk a few $100 million? Wouldn't you risk $1 for a few $100 million?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I know. It's like, what's the harm in it? It's not like I have this addiction where I'm like going and spending $100 every time I get paid to get lottery tickets. So anyway, I don't think
the other
it's
thing
a big
is
deal.
that I also bought a Powerball ticket, which I don't even know what the jackpot is, but it's not
1.6 billion, right? But it's still good.
It's still good, right? Yeah. So everybody gets so hopped up whenever it gets to whatever level it needs to get to for everybody to get excited.
Yeah.
But we act like, oh well, no, it's too small. Once it resets, it's only 2.6 million.
That hilarious.
I'm not. I'm not.
I don't bother playing unless it's over 400 million.
Yeah, that's the most asinine thing.
300 million is not enough for me.
But I'm the same way. I'm a hypocrite, I guess. But the other thing is, why I don't wonder how many people play like the pick 3 or the pick 5 or whatever it is. Because I mean, they're not millions of dollars.
Your odds are much better, but the payouts
are smaller.
But your odds are better. Yeah.
So why not?
But I don't play those.
I don't either. I remember when I was a kid though, when the Missouri lottery had first become a thing.
Yeah.
And they, I guess, do they still broadcast it on TV? The weekly drawing or the nightly drawing? I guess for the pick 3 and
think
pick 5.
I can't say I know that for sure, but I think they do.
But I believe it was on Channel 11
at
the time, and this is in the 80s.
It was always this like real cheap production too.
Yeah,
like, it was like watching Channel 9 PBS or whatever.
Like, they had like a camcorder in the corner. It's like, and here's Bob with the drawing, and some asshole with a glass fish bowl. And
but I as a kid I used to love watching.
Well, they made you watch it because it was on between like Night Court and MASH or something like that.
Right.
It's like, well, fuck, I gotta watch it because I didn't have DVR. I couldn't fast forward through it. So
the little ball comes out, and it's usually like some model, this hot chick's up there, and she turns the ball to face forward. And,
she's a St. Louis 7, but she's an LA 4, you know. But still, it was entertaining nonetheless.
Sure.
So I remember watching that, and it was every night. I would be going to bed, and I get to watch Night Court. Mm-hmm. So I think it was Night Court that was on next, and I remember thinking,
I wasn't allowed to watch Night Court.
I remember thinking that I was going to pick the numbers. So I would lay there in bed. And I thought up numbers, and I was like, I'm gonna pick blah blah blah. I don't think I wrote them down, but I remembered them, and I was like, all right, like 4, 7, 9. Watch that be the pick 3 tomorrow, wouldn't you shit? So I in my mind, I'm like 4, 7, 9. Tomorrow's gonna be 4, 7, 9, and the next day I was too young to buy a ticket. Didn't tell my parents, but it was those fucking numbers.
Damn it.
And I run into my parents. I'm like, I picked 3 numbers. I was so friggin' excited. They're like, yeah, but you didn't buy a ticket. I'm like, but I picked them. I had the numbers right. I had all 3 of them in the order. And I was all excited and shit. And it didn't matter if they were in order or not.
Right, no. But still, it's even better.
But I was all excited and everything. And I'm like, So
that's funny.
That's my luck. And I was talking to my sister today about these people that go and they fill out these sheets with all their special numbers. And, and whatever. Maybe they win. Whatever. Great. Good for them. And I make fun of them because they have their special numbers. But how pissed am I going to be when tomorrow the drawing, or tonight, I guess, the drawing is like actually. My birthday, my sister's birthday, my wife's birthday. And I'm like, God damn.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Well, hopefully you've never heard from us again.
Right. Hopefully this is the last episode.
Ryan shared his 1.6 billion with me.
Right.
And we said, fuck
you know what?
guys.
You'll probably hear from us again because if that happens, we are going to blow this shit up. We are going to have a podcast now. We're going to have superstars. Yep. We're going to have fucking A-Rod on here and J-Lo. Got to have J-Lo. Exactly. They're going to have A-Rod.
Awkward.
Yep. They're going to be our first guest post lotto winnings on Get a Load of This.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
We're full-time jobs. Sven's going to get a whole new drum kit.
Oh, yeah. We're going to set him up. Yeah. Yep. He's going to, might even get him a band, maybe get him some friends to hang out with. He's kind of lonely. We don't really talk to him a whole lot either.
No.
But fuck him. Does he even speak English?
Well, sometimes.
I mean, he understands what we're saying, I think.
If people want to get a hold of Sven, how can they contact him?
It's Sven at pedophile.com.
Pedophile?
Yeah,
Wait
he's got
a minute.
problems.
Jeez.
We can't afford great drummers here. They got some baggage,
Man.
So, he's on parole. It's fine. It's fine. He reported to everybody in the neighborhood. I had to go with him.
Door to door.
It was rough. It was.
You had to translate for him?
There's a lot of tears. So mostly mine. No, yeah, you can reach us though at Load This Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Send us an email, loadthispodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube. Get a load of this podcast.
Yeah, very good.
On YouTube. And I know we keep promising it. I'm still looking at a tripod with no camera on top of it, but we are getting there. Jarod has been working.
A bunch of sawdust on the ground of my garage.
He's been toiling in the garage to build the new.
Ryan was supposed to bring some special tool in my house tonight that I could use.
I'll bring it tomorrow, you asshole. I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's supposed to be done with this thing.
I know. Wow.
It's going to be good. That's okay.
As soon as I walked in the garage, I was like, fuck, I forgot it. I was all mad at myself.
That's all right.
I got you, though. I'll get it over here. Make a special trip for you.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, as usual, fuck the Cubs.
And fuck everybody wearing a World Series patch on their shoulder tonight.
That's right.
We're rooting for Bane.
Until next time, I'm Jarod.
I'm Ryan.
And get a load of this.
The show Ozark, have you watched it? Where you'd be like the angel investor. So if you win, you got whatever, however hundreds of millions of dollars. I would go and just buy these companies that are good companies. They just need a little bit of help, and I don't have to do any work. And I get a percentage of whatever they make, and potentially on them. And
I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what's going on Ozark.
No, it's a little different.
And he's hiding his cash in a pontoon boat.
No, he's not anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it was ever a pontoon
Spoiler
boat,
alert.
It was in, a lot of different places. But
I think it was in the pontoon of a pontoon boat at one point.
At one point it was. You're right.
Hide the cap. Take the cap off.
Yeah. But he's been very creative. So there's been some pretty good. Have you watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the latest one. The latest Stash is pretty good. He's fucking brilliant, man.
I'm trying to remember. Where's the... Spoiler alert. Where's the
Mausoleum.
Stash release? Oh, right. Yeah. Of the guy, the
old guy. Why'd you get a mausoleum? That's just... I made an executive decision. Yeah. Smart decision.
That's funny.
Well, they're buying a crematorium too. Buying a funeral home. I mean, that's
genius.
Brilliant. I mean, I don't know that they realized how much that was going to work out for them, but yeah.
All right.
So what are we doing?
You want to wing this? Well, we got to start first before you pop that thing open.
Let's see if we can.
All right. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll see.
Oh, by the way, I like what you did with Sven. That was you
That
lined
was
it up
good, right?
perfectly. You know,
I only had to tweak it a little bit. But yeah.
it worked out great.
It did
I
work
heard
out.
myself say it, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's right."
Fire it up, Sven.
And it was right on cue. That guy's pretty good, man. That guy's awesome.
We only hire the best drummers around here.
Yeah.
So.
Is that what drummers call it? Do they? I said he's over here on the kit. Do you guys call it that? I mean, is
A
that
kit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever refer to it
Drum
as like,
set
"Oh, that's my kit"?
would be the one, or kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kit. What
I
kind of
said
kit
that,
do you
and
play?
I listened back, and I was like, "Do I sound like a douchebag saying
Nah,
that?"
you're fine.
I don't know if that's the right vernacular. I'm not a musician.
I mean, you might sound kind of douchey
Wow.
if you're not a drummer and you
Yeah.
call it a kit, but that's okay.
Hey, I had another question for you. What I know, obviously, you play guitar, drums, but what did you play in the band whenever you were like in high school and shit?
The drums.
You did,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did you carry just one or multiple?
So in the marching band, I played what they call the tenors or the quads. So it's the one where there's 4 or 5 drums flat in front of you.
All right.
So
Okay.
kind of,
That's cool.
yeah.
I just never asked you. I guess I always assumed like you played a horn or something like that. I don't know why.
Right.
But
no, I was the drum captain.
everybody forgets about the percussion.
They do. No, the drummers are the badasses of the band.
I agree. They're the
cool
only
kids.
reason marching band's worth
That's
a damn
right.
to listen to, in my opinion. Nothing against the horn section or the woodwinds or whatever. They still is that right? Is that-
Woodwinds, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know your shit.
Yeah.
John Philip Sousa over there.
Yeah. Well, that's bullshit trivia. That's elementary music class. But you see, that is trivia. John Philip Sousa is trivia, right? And a lot of people knew who he is and what he did.
No one knows John Philip Sousa except for people that were in band.
Why the hell do I know?
I don't know.
So
That's
I know a lot of useless shit.
Yeah.
We were playing Trivial Pursuit with, and I'm off the top, we got to get going here, but we were playing Trivial Pursuit with my family when the boy was home. We went over there and we had dinner, and we decided we were going to play Trivial Pursuit. And now my nieces and my one niece's boyfriend, Kevin, just call his ass out. I
He
don't know
says
who
with
lives-
a pursed lip.
Kevin. It's like Newman. But no, I like Kevin. He's a good guy. But he keeps bitching all the time. He's like, "This isn't fucking trivia. Nobody knows this stuff. This is
Yeah.
like old people stuff." I'm like, "Well, what is trivia?
Right.
Well, how do you define trivia? It is trivial minutia, things that not everybody knows that is a challenge and is a point of pride to be able to pull some nugget of information out of your head. That's trivia. It's not defined by it has to be from pop culture from the 1990s and on. It's
still
trivia.
It is annoying when you go to one of these trivia nights and they just make a point of the most obscure questions they can think of that
fine.
nobody's
If every
going to
question was about fucking Winston Churchill,
Yeah.
he would have a gripe. But it wasn't. It was about movies, and like Rocky was an answer. It's like, dude, it was the 70s, but you should still know that.
Yeah.
And if you don't, basically it means you're just not very worldly, and maybe you need to study up a little bit and get out of your little millennial bubble.
Hey, I don't know how many Ariana Grande questions I would get right.
Yeah.
But
None. I would get, maybe I that dude that she ditched or he ditched her or whatever. Anyway.
All right, let's do this.